I got a call from my friend Steven. Steven runs a business called Funky Junk Farms, and they are all about the unique and rare artifacts. They are into antiques, memorabilia, vintage cars, motorcycles, scooters, you name it. There's a lot of funk, there's a lot of junk. It's right up my alley.
This is my inspiration room.
It's the best part of every workshop.
If someone gives you an idea what you got to build, you come in here,
The whole environment.
hang out, or just come and rest your brain. I like to create an environment with a collage of anything cool and funky. We like to keep the old flavor of these vintage trailers, and we'll either do a full contemporary interior or a retro interior with modern conveniences inside.
When you think of vintage trailer, at least my vintage trailer, I think like this rickety old thing that has some, flavors of the past. This is like a brand new thing. It's absolutely beautiful. Probably better than the day it came off the showroom floor.
That's the thing about Funky Junk Farms. We're always ahead of the curve or way behind it. Or we're not even in the curve.
Now we're talking 4 wheels. This is a
There you go.
vehicle.
And a motor.
What the heck is this thing?
So this is a 1939 Hunt house car. This was the first pusher motorhome, which the new ones are now diesel pushers.
Look at this thing. You just keep your coffee warm right here on the dashboard.
And you can wash your dish
And
after
your
you're finished.
right.
You can brush your teeth as well while you're driving. This is a 1936
It's like an Eagle Beak or something. Look at that.
Curtis Aero car.
Wow.
And this is a fifth wheel trailer. So you took the trunk off your car, the lid. You had to be committed
Deck lid,
to camping, committed. But the reason why he did that was that people can ride in the back. So, but you had a radio communication with the driver. Yeah, James, take it up to 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, make a left, stop at 7-Eleven. Some people aspire to maybe be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever. I want to be just like him when I grow up. It seems like he just buys anything that he finds interesting.
I got one more room to show you and some other stuff that I
Wait,
have.
there's more.
Oh, there's always more.
In addition to this vintage trailer restoration, Steve is big into the movie industry. He does a lot of sourcing and preparing of movie cars.
I'm a picture car coordinator. Actually, I'm a teamster. I just finished a film. I really can't say the name. Not really Pulp Fiction, but it's coming out in July, and I had to find 2,000 cars for that film. The period was 1969, and trying to find and build and rent 2,000 cars for LA was an incredible feat. When you collaborate with people, you get a better product. I like you to put a little signature on one of our pieces.
Oh, I'd love to.
I'm excited to have Ian here because there are a few pieces in here that would be a good project for him because he definitely has the vibe of the funk. So I want to show you the project that I want you to put your signature on.
Oh, yeah.
This is what I have in mind.
Yeah, a little Roadster race car.
1925 Dodge.
Nice. You walk around the corner and I see this car and it's got my name all over it. Steve starts describing what it is, and it's very together. It's not your typical basket case starting point.
We decided we're gonna build a little hot rod.
For sure.
I used to drag race back in the 80s. Plant 6 engine in it,
So it's
225.
already been hot rodded, okay.
Yeah.
Steve's saying this is the project and I'm wondering what's the gimmick, right? Is there a bait and switch? Is there a curtain that's gonna rise up with the actual project or what? Yeah, so this is like super touring car.
This is called three-quarter elliptic spring.
Yeah, this is the essence of fun, man.
It is.
Everybody's got a Ford, right?
Sure,
This is
exactly.
unique.
This is completely different. I wanted a Dodge. I'm a Dodge man.
Nice.
We're looking at something like this, but kind of stuck on where to go with it from here. We're trying to make it more streamlined and make it somewhat like a more race car. But there's a few areas that we don't like. That front end somewhere,
Right.
and then in the back here.
Really like the direction that he's taken this project because it looks like that transformation you would have seen back in the day, Took Pop's old car and hot rodded it. This is right up my alley.
Make it look fast.
Right. Sounds like he's really gonna use it. So I love the idea that it's not just a display piece. He's gonna have this thing and use it regularly.
If you want to do the work, you can do it here. We can carve out a spot for you to work.
Even better, right? No use trailering after my place.
Sure.
I'm super into this project, and it'll be real cool to work in this environment. seeing things already.
Turn you loose.
Got the car dug out and moved into the other side of the building. This place is pretty unique. It's really nice to work in a creative environment like this. That's the way I handle my own workspace, in that it's more of a studio than it is this production auto repair facility. What's the deal with those signs, man?
Oh, those are from
I don't know if that's a self-portrait, but I recognize two of the characters there.
it was a food event, so every one of them had to be food related.
I mean, maybe if things work out, I can get my portrait on the wall too, you know? Me and the two dogs. I think I'm gonna get all the stuff that could catch on fire out of the way. I'm gonna pull the fuel tank, this big hairy seat. Perfect. See? I don't know why they don't make cars like this anymore. Look how easy it was to take that fuel tank out. Oh, look at that, the fuel gauge works and everything. Is that cool or what? This is a good sign. Even the fuel gauge still works. We're off to a good start. I know you're talking about streamlining the nose. I got a couple ideas. Let me give you the sales pitch, and then we'll discuss it before I do any work.
Sounds good.
I really like the direction Steve's taken this car, and I have a couple good ideas that'll really follow through and reinforce the whole visual statement of the thing. I could get pretty wild, but you want to keep it traditional looking. No bubble top, no metal flake paint job, no airbags, right?
No airbags.
It's a nice classic traditional race car.
Right.
All right.
You do it as if you were living in this time and building it in your backyard, not in a race shop, but in your backyard.
Typically, I am called on to come into a project and do my thing. But depending on the vehicle, my thing can be, here or there. So that's the thing. I have to decide which thing to bring. One thing I'm sure of is that Steve is going for this, period correct look, like it was built back in the day. I'm gonna mock up a couple things, see what you think.
All right.
And then we can go forward. So give me like an hour.
I'll be back.
Cool, man.
See.
Steven's a busy guy, so it's up to me to come up with a plan. We're not trying to change the characteristic of this car at all. You can see it's already got a sweet look. That chopped low windshield, it's already got kind of a little rake and aggressive stance. Yeah, the whole thing with any race cars, it looks like it's going fast, sitting still. Here it is sitting still. That looks like a giant tombstone. This is an air pusher coming right at you. So do a couple things, make it a little more streamlined. It's period correct. Concept here is to bring the radiator forward and down a little bit, thusly providing a more raked, streamlined hood angle. The way the radiator's a little bit lower, and it can be set at any height up here. And the water will just come under the front cross member. Oh yeah, see that? I mean, look at it already. Now all of a sudden, you're looking a little more streamlined. Sometimes with my mock-ups, I keep it pretty down and dirty, but with this one, I want to present it just right. I'm pulling out all the stops. All right, so we got the poplar radiator bracket. We've got this custom hood representer. The last thing that's going to sell this concept is the full custom speaker wire radiator mock-up support. Right? You see those metal rods on the radiator all the time? We're not doing that. Not for this discussion. Take a piece of wire, see that? Little white line makes you think shapes. Arrow straight. Now the one last thing, I make a very technical decision right here. Yeah, there it is. That tightens up the whole assembly. It's ready to race. Looks good. Let's go next door. I got a mock-up to show you, but I need a piece of stock, like a 4x4 angle, anything heavy enough to support that radiator.
Oh, I think I got some.
So I'm thinking like 1/4 inch, like this stuff, but heavier. Right. So this is probably 2x2.
Something bigger.
Double that, and then thicker. Like here's 3x3.
Like this.
Like that. There it is. Well, what's that measure out? 4x4 by 3/16.
There it is.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be perfect. Let me show you the mock-up before we go cutting apart your stuff.
All right.
I'll show you the car and show you the concept.
Perfect.
This is great. They got stuff everywhere. It's my kind of shop. Yeah, so just check up that down there and we'll just carry on.
Where'd you get that?
I got people, man. Don't worry about where I get stuff in your shop. So here's where we're at. Got the fuel tank out and got a few lines presented.
All right. Look at that angle.
So this is what I'm thinking. See, it's ahead of the cross member and low.
Perfect.
Right, so the hood top will be the wood.
Yep.
You'll have 2 support bars in there where the white is, and then we can decide how far the hood wraps
The hood
down.
can come down, yeah.
I was thinking that sheet I grabbed, I'll just make a new hood, like a race car hood, one piece.
Yeah, one-piece hood, no need hinges on it, because you just lift it off. When
Exactly, it'll be like a quick disconnect.
And that's the way they would have built it back, you know. Man.
The ghost of the inspectors is in the building. Even though the inspectors aren't here, it sounds like they've got their comrades on the lookout. Whoa, did you hear that? Am I tripping out, man? If I know that bark, it sounds like we're headed in the right direction.
You know, you do great work.
Thanks, man.
Just not enough of it.
Just not enough.
That's what I tell my guys.
Story of my life.
No, this looks great.
I just let him do his thing. This is shooting from the hip and whatever you come up with.
The drop is excellent.
Steven's happy, and that's great, because, you know, this is the first thing I was showing him, and that's the thing. It's like, is it going to work or not? That's what you like, that's what I'll make.
Let's go.
Cool. Next thing I got to do is make a couple radiator brackets with the material I got from Steven. All right, so the issue is with this water return line, it would be nice to just put this angle in. Unfortunately, it's right in line with the bolt. Hey, engineers, right? So you got to come off the side of this thing. I'm going to grab it right here where it's real strong on each side of this hoop. So that's our dimensions of the placement of these 2 drop downs this wide, and a crossbar will grab those. This is the simple structural element to the operation. Holy. Looks like I got a soldering job now, too. This is typical of what you deal with a vehicle from 1925. Few steps forward and half a step back. Nothing new here. So with that hole goes right to the hardware on the radiator. And you got one full custom bracket. Check that out. I made a little progress on the car, but I got a few ideas to really solidify this nose-down race car look. So this is the bones of the operation. The challenge is going to be in creating this hood shell. It's really going to sell the concept. The next step in this procedure is to set up these 2 locating rods for the grill. And yes, you could just buy these in a catalog, but that'd be far too easy. Every build is unique in the way you approach it. So Steve's statement of race car built in the 40s means everything was hand-built. That's what I gotta do. Just drilled into these tubes a little bit, cut a 5/16 bolt, and you can see the index in there pretty nice. I'm gonna weld that. Key here is to make these parts look like they were always here, you know, kind of stealth. It's purely functional. I put this little stud on there, and that's what's gonna secure it to the radiator. Now, see, you're not stressing the thermostat housing or the rubber hose. As fun as it is making little knickknacks, the real challenge is in shaping the hood. So, I have this specialized cardboard template style material. You see it all the time. Now I'm thinking, instead of this piano hinge in the hood, instead of that, I'm just gonna make one solid, quick release panel. That way you're at the racetrack, it either looks like that or it looks like it has a hood. I've used some pretty outrageous template material on other projects, but I decided to go to the store and buy the good stuff. Now we have a definite center point, so when I make the template, I can always fold it like this. That way they're both symmetrical. Can you dig it? I know I can. Like every template, I'm making it oversized at first and then trimming it down to fit. See, so now when you pull it down, it's in the spot where the hood belongs. We got 2 different curves. You got this mellow curve across the top and then the tight bend there. I got a slip roller they brought over. So what I'm gonna do is make the deviation in curvature on my template. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. The thing with the paper template is it's just a starting point. I'm going to transfer that shape to the steel and then cut it out. Now we're gonna put in that slip roller and roll out the barrel. The tool provides one result. You make a nice round shape, and the hood is more of an oval, right? So that's the thing. You have to use this tool in sort of an unorthodox fashion to get this elliptical cone shape. This is like man versus metal. It's a delicate dance. This is no battle. This is no attack. This is romancing the molecules. This is finesse. You gotta schmooze it. So you can see, that looks like a hood. So the next thing I'm gonna do is just like I did with the paper template. See, the metal's oversized. It's not sitting in the place it's supposed to. I'm gonna get these gaps nice and even. Front and back are trimmed out close enough at this point. The main factor is figure out how low the hood sides are going to be. So what I'm seeing is the angle of that door coming straight through the hood. And actually the light's making a perfect reflection on the sheet metal as well. So it's kind of a no-brainer right there. Before I finish up the work on the hood, I want to make sure that Steven likes it. Hey, got some progress made. I made you a paper hood with flames.
Flames,
You like that?
Love them.
Yeah, if you like that.
Only on chicken. Oh, that looks good.
And it'll have some pins underneath, so it'll draw it in. So you get to their track, just like a race hood, and then you put a pin right under there, both sides.
When I first thought, I hated it. No, I'm just kidding. No, it looks great. He nailed it. He got it just right.
I was thinking about this line on the top of the door, right? That angle.
Yep.
And I want to transfer that line right into the hood.
Right.
So the top of this tape measure line.
Okay.
And that'll be a hem edge in my sheet metal brake, squished. That way we don't have any of that flex. And it's super rigid.
That looks good.
With Steven, I don't have to over-explain things. He sees what I'm up to and knows right away if he likes it or not. If you're cool with that hood, I'll do a couple things at my shop tonight. And for tomorrow, I got one other idea about the back of the cab.
Okay.
2 good ideas thus far. I got a bunch of other stuff rattling around in this cranium, so let's get on to the next. Did a little action last night. Hopefully it still fits. I got this hood wrapped up. I want to see it on the car. So that's the deal right there. But I was thinking, like, how do you put it on? You know, you don't want to have 2 big pins like you see on a race car with a fiberglass
60s.
hood. Yeah. I got those little details. I don't know how you feel about it, but I got 4 if you want to do that.
It's okay.
Yeah, right. You see it on every race car.
But I got something better.
Okay.
I knew you were bringing this today.
Right.
Look at these.
What the heck is this spring-loaded deal?
Yeah. Spring-loaded release pins.
Awesome. See, that's why you got all the treasure. These vintage spring clamps are a nice touch. I love collaborating with people who know what parts to bring. This is some funky, cool junk. These things add a perfect period look. I think putting them outside, you see the whole giddy up.
Oh, definitely.
It looks
definitely
cool.
on the edge here.
Right.
Because that keeps this open and clean.
That'll keep the
great.
hood straight, and these will keep the hood in place.
All right. Here you go.
Good deal, man. I'll figure that out, no problem. I can mount these spring releases later, but while Steven's still here, I want to talk about some modifications to the rear of the car. So the thing is, with this angle of the hood, you know, it's looking tight. I really love the line transferring from the door top to that hood.
Right.
Everything's flowing fast, and this looks like a bit of a parachute. It's like, this is the wall that's going to slow you down. Nothing, you know, definite in my mind, except that trimming this down, of course, and creating some kind of new lip for the seat back.
Right.
The main issue is, where are we going to cut this thing? Just as a concept, you know, this line is just straight through. It's way down. There's a lot of different ways to discuss a layout of this line, but my opinion is the best way is to use the envisioning tape and set up some lines.
Maybe something like that.
So on the top of the tape line would be the cut.
Right. Of course, you can modify
For sure,
it.
it takes that
but
big lip
that-
right off the top.
Right. It's pretty good for a first attempt, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
That big-
looks- I say go. Green light.
Cool. A guy after my own heart, you know, lays down the line, one look, no second guessing. I say just for safety, why don't we stack one more layer of tape above that, and we'll cut it at that, because you could always cut it down a little bit more.
Right.
I've chopped a top on a car 2 inches too much once, and what a pain it was putting all the freaking window pieces back together. As much as I don't like second guessing, it's pretty critical. You know what they say, measure twice, cut once. They say that for a reason.
That looks good. I hate safety wires and safety nets.
Yeah, right.
I go
That's
for
it.
it.
Exactly. When you're on the tightrope, you're just doing it for real.
Man, so many years of doing this, I don't mind cutting it. And you can always turn it into something else.
Look at that, it's a whole different car.
There you go.
No more chuck wagon, stagecoach. That's the look. I mean, the hood is going right through to the deck lid. Just gained a mile per hour on your top end.
Cool, let's go with it.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna frame that out in 1-inch square tube. It's
Okay.
really light, and you see how the body started to flex? It's gonna
Yep.
bring that structure right back.
Okay.
The whole thing with these folded edges in every sheet metal structure is just like what I accomplished on the hood. That edging is the support. As soon as you fold it, it's rigid. When you unfold it, it gets a little weird. 3 points. Oh, reject. It's always busy at Funky Junk Farms. Ed is one of Steven's business partners in Funky Junk Farms.
Ian, this is Ed Lum.
Oh, man. Good to meet you. How you doing?
Second part of Funky Junk Farms.
Right, I thought I recognized him, the guy in the pot.
Guy in the pot.
He does a lot of the graphic design. You know, he's the awesome artist behind those big murals in the hall. He's just a really talented dude. Ed stops by to do some work on the Black Cat Racing logo, and I look outside and there's this giant sign. It's the Brown Derby sign from Los Angeles. An iconic night spot, like forever. I actually went there about 20 years ago, and that was just before they closed the doors.
It's so cool because a piece of history just will come in at any time in this building, and that's the great thing about this place.
It's pretty cool to be in an environment where this caliber of stuff happens, you know? In between the sign deliveries and the real live art presentation, you know, there's a lot more going on with this car, and I can't wait to get to it. I mean, it's grease lightning, baby. This is awesome. I got my trusty tube bender in the house, and I'm ready to make some progress on the rear of this car. All right, so the whole deal is this square tube is gonna replicate the structure that was originally in the car. If you're in here leaning your elbow over the edge, you're gonna get sliced. These were the inner hoops that belonged in the car, and they were up here. So what I wanna do is basically do the same exact thing, lower it down, and make it at a square stock. That way it's stronger. The body has relaxed into this funky shape after I cut the structure out of it. So hopefully by reattaching this ring that I'm about to create, it will pull it back into shape. The whole process here is just sneaking up on the goal, you know, trying a bunch of different techniques to get the results I need. Hi-yo, here we are. Forklift is heavy. This is the old adapt and overcome trick. I don't limit my work to only using metalworking tools. I do whatever it takes to get what I need. Look for the heaviest thing in the shop and use it as a lever. This tubing bender is only going to take the material so far before it kinks, so I will resort to the oldest trick in the book, the old pie cut technique. So what you get is that. This car does a weird little hoop right here. Check this out. See how the radius follows the sheet metal perfectly? Then there's this weird issue here where the seat back came in. Just like with the hood, the body of the car is not this perfect round shape. I'm gonna clamp this on here and see if I can't just work that out with the clamps. This is just one of the things that experience lends you, is knowing what you can get away with. To make this whole join convincing, I need to find the middle ground, shrink in the car body a little, relax the tubing a little, set them up right. I gotta section it right through here because we're going further than 90 degrees. Using a whole bunch of clamps in a specific arrangement is hopefully gonna make this work out. I call this a success. I think I'll get out the welder, do a couple tacks in there to get these high cuts in order. The biggest challenge here is the shop inspectors are on their way in this afternoon, a little guest appearance, etc. And I told them it would be done this afternoon, so hopefully I'll have it in order by the time they get here. One thing I know is that the car is not that straight. We just did a rough tape line. So by putting this on the table, see how janked up it is? How are we gonna fix that? There's a million ways. Oh, there it is, fixed. So the rear of this car, even though it looks flat like we chopped it off, it's actually not. It's got a bow in it. So putting it on the table is strictly just a gauge from left to right. Want to be sure that the whole apparatus has the same curvature. Little twist, and there it is. Now that we got some symmetry, put this in the car and see how high up the actual rear deck is going to lie. You could see how different the sheet metal was from being straight, so this is definitely coming off. Now that I've got the back trimmed out, it's just a matter of welding it all together. Welcome back. Got it finished just in time. Did a little of that steel fabrication.
I can see it from back there.
Right.
It looks nice. Oh, man.
All steel.
You know, this is perfect. This is the look I wanted right here. It looks good.
It was good to see that Steven liked it. You know, it's a delicate balance between fine fabrication and this backyard aesthetic that Steven was looking for.
Just subtle changes make the car look completely different, you know?
Oh, for sure.
The whole idea is when you stand back and just look at it, you know, it looks like a race car now.
A few more things to go, and this project is across the finish line. This project's coming together. The shop inspectors are here, and I'm hoping they're digging the progress. Well, they're excited to be here. Of course, they don't even remember the pep talk we had about the car. They're all about the vintage trailers. Thing is, these two are definitely creatures of habit. So you get them in a whole new environment, and they're all over the place, you know, hardly focused on their work. Check this out. Dodge Brothers Roadster. Race car, period correct. I know your relationship with cats. This is not a threat, it's not a challenge, it's a race car. Do you understand? I hate to show them a project for the first time when it's this far along, in case they have a problem, but so far it's looking good. Well, no alarm bells are going off. I guess we're on to the next step. The inspectors don't seem to have an issue, and I sure ain't gonna make one. Looks like everything is coming along good. All right, so the whole thing with this seat is just like the rest of the car. They want it lower and leaner. I took off that flange that was sitting there and was all rusty. And this is gonna sit pretty much right there. Not only does this car need to fit the bill aesthetically, you know, the seat needs to have a good solid platform. See what's happening with the cushion? It's doing the flip-flop. So I just gotta put a frame from here right out to here, square it off, and that's the story. Even though this is a really simple structure, what it's going to do is make that stock cushion seat really fit in the car, you know, give you a secure feeling. You never know what's gonna happen here at Funky Junk Farms. I'm just working away, and this big boat appears from behind door number 2. Who knows what Steven's up to? Maybe some movie needed a yacht? I bet there's a UFO around here somewhere. So the whole key with these little spring clasps is cut out these pieces of angle that will be the receiver. They go in like a little blade. And then I'm just cutting this chain, which will be the eyelet that the top side hooks in. For my next act, I will attach hood hinge latches. The trick here is that the latches pull down so that the hood fits properly. The springs finish off the look on this custom hood, you know, very antique. Fits an old race car perfect. The old quick disconnect. We're getting pretty close to wrapping up Steven's project, so I thought it was a good idea to take a little time and get some inspiration. After you, sir.
Thank you.
We are at the Petersen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles, California. Gene invited me down here to check out his rides. Rumor has it you got a couple cars in a display here.
Yeah.
I don't really need to tell everyone, but Gene Winfield is a legend in the car customizing world. He has built cars for movies, for TV shows, for commercials, car shows, you name it. He's got 8 cars in a special exhibition of fantasy, futuristic, TV, movie, and show cars. Walking right in the door, they have this feature of Juxtaposed magazine, and sure enough, a lot of artwork I recognize, and of course, one of Ed Roth's cars. This is my kind of stuff in here. They got an Ed Roth car. Just like you go to a car show, I come to this museum for like the highest caliber of inspiration.
I understand they found this car in Mexico just sitting by a bar or something, you know, out. And
Right.
then they bought it and brought it up to Van Nuys. They rebuilt it and reconditioned it, and it's beautiful. They did a nice job.
I can't wait till some of my cars turn into dumpsters. And then we can restore them. His history runs deep, like from day one. He's got stories about everything here.
I got acquainted with him very early. You know, one time I asked him to come to a car show for me in Modesto.
Right.
And he said, all right, I'll let you know. So I waited about 2 weeks, and then I get a roll of toilet paper, about 12 feet long, and that was his answer. Said, yes, I'll come to your car show.
Cool.
He was radical in every way.
Walking in this room, it starts pretty dark. The Dark Knight. You know, I saw this thing on that Dark Knight, the Batman thing. I've loved these tires ever since. I'm gonna build a bicycle like this. I promise you. This is too cool. It's all handmade.
I love it because it's so different and so wild.
Yeah. 'Cause look, it's a Honda engine in there.
Yeah.
I love seeing this stuff in real life because, you know, I know how to build cars. I could see what's a prop and what's for real. And seeing the stuff that works is like, whoa, that is too cool. I recognize this one.
You know, this was built from the Lincoln Futura.
That's a beautiful car. Boy,
Yes.
they messed that up.
Yeah. So I guess this is the new spinner
Right.
for the new Blade Runner movie.
Yeah, and you made these.
Yeah, this is one of mine here. This is what we call every man's coupe. It would be almost like a Volkswagen
Oh, I like
today,
those.
you know.
Now you're talking my style.
Ridley Scott was the director. He was looking at it, oh my God, you gotta fix this. You gotta fix this little thing here. You know, he was really, really on me. So then when they film it, it's in the rain at night.
Mud all
You can't
over.
see nothing. It was weird. We made 4 of these. This one here was Harrison Ford's car. So this was Deckard's car.
These are all very, like, cartoon inspired. I mean, look at this thing,
yes.
too.
It was really interesting to create these things from Sid Mead's drawings and make them functional and drivable.
That's all up to you to engineer that. You just get a drawing.
It was all engineered, so everything was functional, but it was very, very difficult. It
seems like it.
This whole door comes up like this. Would I do it again? Sure. I'd
Yeah.
do it again.
Cool.
I'm just getting started.
Hearing Gene say that he'd take that same challenging job on right now, That's pretty impressive.
Look at this wild
Yeah,
thing.
it's crazy. It looks like a lobster.
Isn't that something?
You know, it's one thing walking around the museum, but when you have the docent telling the tales, that's what really makes it stick.
It's got to be Mad Max. A friend of mine in Australia made some of them for that movie, turbocharged and a blower.
Yeah, can't have enough power, man.
It's radical. Back to the Future. I made the one they lifted to fly. Everything on the car was fiberglass. It only weighed 700 pounds.
Oh, I see.
I put a brush finish on it so it looked like stainless.
Right.
And that's the one they lifted to fly.
Interesting.
The flux capacitor.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, I'm 48 and my back hurts, and I'm like, is it done yet? And the 91, he's like, oh, this is so cool, this is so radical, look at this feature. I mean, he's a man with a passion for cars, and he's rocking it. You have this at your shop, right? The real one.
Yeah, yeah. Damnation Alley.
Yeah.
The tires actually rotate.
How the heck does it steer? It's just a regular straight axle in the front.
Yeah.
So we're in room 1, right? Blade Runner. I'm like, wow, okay, cool. 3, 4 cars for this thing. You know, they had another model of another vehicle on his property. But then he's like, oh yeah, no, upstairs we have the Man from U.N.C.L.E., we have the RoboCop car, and then I have this other thing of my own called the Strip Star, and it just keeps going and going. This is super cool. Wow. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot this vehicle that's very reminiscent to Steven's project, but it's more like funky junk from the future or something. Look at this tail end. Wow.
The Petersen coupe.
Yeah, I recognize that one, of course,
The
right?
SoCal tank.
Right. Thing is, I thought we were coming here to just see Gene's cars, and he's like, oh, no, check out so-and-so's car, and then this one too. Oh, and I raced him back on the lakes, and et cetera, et cetera.
This was built in '51. This was built by Coddington.
Uh-huh.
I believe designed by Larry Erickson, I think.
This has got me written all over it, man.
Dick Dean and Keith built this one.
Thanks for showing us your cars, man.
Oh,
I mean,
great.
It's
Great.
crazy to have
Yeah,
8
I'm
vehicles
great
in the
that we were
Petersen.
able to come down here and look at them. It's fabulous.
For
This is
sure.
the first time I've seen them on display here.
It's awesome.
All right, we gotta go. I'll see you.
Take it easy, man.
All right.
This museum goes on and on. You know, Gene tells me he has to hit the road, but as he's walking out the door, he's like, oh yeah, and this one, and that one. He's got stories about everything, man. It's pretty darn impressive. This is
Yeah,
crazy cool.
Well, this is called the Coyote.
Oh, okay.
This
I know
is
the
built
name.
by Dean Jeffries.
Uh-huh.
Now, wasn't very many of them had this top.
Love it.
That's very rare.
Yeah, I built one with a camper shell that we fused on it.
Right, I
Different
remember
flavor,
that on
but-
your episode. I
Yeah.
saw that. That was great.
I had fun with Gene checking all this stuff out. Maybe one day I'll get one of my cars in here. I was hoping to take a little field trip, get a little inspiration, and mission accomplished. It's a perfect diversion from this vintage race car. I gotta get back to it. After my run-in with the issue with the radiator inlet, it's time for a little session of Roussel's custom radiator repair. This radiator is the real deal, whatever it is, 1925, 1927, but just like me, old age is a hard thing to manage. This period-correct radiator is a cool piece and totally worth salvaging. It takes a delicate operation to not ruin the whole thing. Simplest statement would be that I am preparing these two metals to be joined, and it requires a lot of flux. So now we got that all hot. Let's put it on here. Try to join them together without ruining the lead. Looks like it's gonna work. I'm just gonna let it cool down before putting it on. We've got a guest inspector in the house. Rumor is it's a local, and it wanted to come in and check the process. Checking out the work. What do you think? All steel repair, 1-inch square tube around the edge. The word must be really spreading in the dog audience. I've seen photos of them watching television, and everybody wants to be a star. It's all original, real steel car. Pretty groovy, huh? Dogs must have a thing for race cars, because these inspections have been way too easy, like 0 criticism. Well, looks like everybody's on board. Can I get a hand? Usually I get some kind of, yeah, there you go, perfect. Winner. Another satisfied customer. And like every other project, there's always loose ends to tie up. I love it when a plan comes together.
You want to fire it up? Pop that one up.
That's
Switch that up.
that's the ignition, that's
Ignition,
start.
and that's start right there.
Steven says this thing is ready to run. Just like a
Fire it
race
up.
car, man. No keys, right?
No keys.
Yeah, the sound of the straight sixes are unique. You just hear all the little valves
Yep.
going. It's cool.
Yeah, great sound to them.
Yeah. I think you're ready to race, baby. This car's really coming together. I can't wait to see it on the road. You got this. Get your pilot goggles on and run it. This old Dodge is ready for some dodging. Took it out to the top secret proving grounds and we're about to let it rip. It looks ready to race.
I'm even ready to race. I cut my hair off.
Oh, I hadn't noticed.
Low profile, ready for a new change and a new car.
Yeah, man, this is cool. Yeah, good call just leaving it steel, man. It all fits.
It's good.
I know Steven's excited about driving it. You know, we're out here checking it out outside for the first time, and it's a cool rig for sure.
Standing out here in the sun right now, feels excellent. New car, new hair, new look. The car looks great. Been working on this thing for months, actually, and Ian did an amazing job on the work that he did. The lines look really nice.
There was no crazy styling choices or fabrication in this. The whole thing was subtle mods to make it more like an old vintage race car. It doesn't look like anything was changed, but it was. That's why it looks so cool.
It's fun when people can walk up on it and they have to look at your car to see what you modified.
Get in there, I want to get your victory shot.
All right.
I saw him sit down in the car, and it's like, whoa, that thing we did by the door jam totally works. Now it's like you would see somebody in a race car, not in a passenger car.
Look, if I had my afro, it would have gone way up over here now.
Well, exactly. Just like you see those speed, you know, the wind tunnels, that would have been a drag. You could have broke your neck.
Yeah, I'm really excited about getting out there and driving this damn car. It's been locked up in my shop for a year. I'm glad that it's done, and we're gonna get it out and see what it can do. I'm ready to drive, man. You either get in or I'm leaving you.
That's why I showed up here, man. Enough with the jibber jabber. Run this thing.
See if it goes.
The car runs perfectly. You know, it feels like an antique vehicle for sure. It's like a two hands on the wheel experience. You know, the car has no shock absorbers, very primitive suspension. It's like a covered wagon with a 6-cylinder engine.
Drives like an old piece of junk. This is actually a primitive car, so this is like the early stages of automobiles. It's like holding on to a little bull.
This stretch of roadway is perfect to get that old world experience. It could be 1940 in California.
And it's fun, you know, just to experience what you build and what you've worked on. This was nice to get it out on the highway and take a spin. Of course, I wanted to let Ian get a feel for it. You ready to drive this thing?
Yes, sir. I've been waiting all this time.
You're up.
Thing was, we're hanging out, and he's like, oh, no, you got to drive it too, man. This is all inclusive. Hop in.
All right.
That's the whole vibe of this car. It's to enjoy it, you know? If you really wanted to go fast, you'd take another direction. This is about experiencing the ride. It's fun. It's an awesome rig.
Well, thanks to your work, collaboration.
Good deal, man.
Came
Glad
out
you
good,
like it.
man. Came out good.
Have fun with that.
Yeah.
Ride's freaking perfect.
Oh,
I'm impressed.
it's great.
It's been said, variety is the spice of life. Get to visit friends, work on projects. It's a pretty good life.